So we have two pumps here. Two pumps are there which are capable of delivering 100 horsepower to an agricultural farm, and we want to see which pump is better. This ABC pump and XYZ pump is there, and their purchase price are given, their annual maintenance is given, and their efficiency is given. Output power is the same for the two pumps. The cost of electricity is 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and the pump will be operated 4,000 hours per year. Which pump should be chosen? Recall that 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watt.
So doctor, I'm assuming there is no discount rate.
There is no discount rate. We are assuming only 1 year of lifetime, and we are not discounting the cost at this present time.
And the 100 horsepower is the output, not the input.
Yes, 100 horsepower is the output of these two pumps. So we're going to solve this now. We can find out the operating costs. As you can see that purchase price and annual maintenance are already given, so we don't have to calculate anything there, but operating cost we have to find out. Operating cost of ABC is equal to, and you can see power into time. So power is 100 horsepower, okay, and its efficiency is 0.8. This become input power, right? Input power, and you multiply it to make it kilowatt. So we know that 0.746 kilowatts are equal to 1 horsepower. Now this has become an input power. This whole thing becomes input power. If you want, you can make two steps. First, find out input power, then find out the energy, and then maybe third step, find out the energy cost. But I am doing it in a one step, in a one go. So here we have the input power multiplied with time becomes energy, 4,000 hours per year, multiplied by, we have, what is the cost of energy? 10 cents per kilowatt hours. Now, since we want to work in dollars, we can see that $1 has 100 cents. It's good to work with units also, and if the units balance, we get dollars, it means it's a cost. If the units are not balancing, then you have done a mistake. So you can see from here, cents cancels with cents, hours cancels with hours, kilowatts cancel with kilowatts, horsepower cancels with the horsepower, and we are left with dollars. Okay, and you solve it, you will get the operating cost. Anybody like to tell me? 238. Are you sure? 37,300 dollars. This is the right one. And we have the annual maintenance cost, and so plus maintenance, total cost, I will put total cost here now, just add all these costs. Total cost of ABC is equal to 37,300 plus $2,900 $2,900 plus we have $170, and that is your answer for ABC. You do the same for XYZ and see which one is cheaper. And I suppose that since the heading is saying investment in electrical efficiency, it means that it will select efficient pump.
Doctor, this is only for 1 year.
This is only for 1 year. Yes, any questions? Shall we continue? So you can do the rest by yourself. Just find out the operating costs of XYZ, add those costs and compare them and select the cheapest one. Now we have some concept about pricing. I will go back to the pricing. There is a public perspective of prices and there is private perspective of prices. Public perspective is from the economic point of view or social point of view. Private perspective is from individual or industrialist point of view. And the price is may be quite different because the prices are distorted by government to achieve certain social objectives. They put duties and taxes on certain items and they subsidize certain items. In Oman, for example, we have electricity heavily subsidized. Similarly, water is subsidized, gas is subsidized. So these, when subsidies occurs, there is a chance or there is high chance that people will misuse or waste the energy, okay, waste the resources. For example, I give you example of myself, that how I wasted that. I misused of the subsidy of electricity. 2 years back, I went to Jordan to attend a conference. I took my wife also, and we had a beautiful cat, a Persian cat, and what to do with cat? So my wife suggested to give it to the neighbors for 1 week and we will come and take from them. I said, no, it doesn't look nice. I don't know whether some people are allergic to cats. Sometime, you know, they don't know, they might dislike the idea, etc. Let's keep it cat in the house, and we will after 1 week we will come and we will ask someone to put the food once in a day and change the litter, change the sand or where it does its litter, etc. So he will do it, and that's it. We will go and we will come back after 1 week. So we left the cat, and it was in April or so, and we left the air conditioner running for 24/7 for the cat. And this air conditioner was the whole, as you know, here it is centrally air conditioned, centralized. We cannot have a control. All houses cooled. So for the cat we left it, and then we came back, and we were happy that the cat was fine and everything went well. But you can see that how much wastage we have done. The air conditioner was running for 24/7. Why did it happen? Because electricity is only 10 paisa per kilowatt hour. All right, and it is heavily subsidized. We pay only 1/3. 2/3 is paid by the government. So if I have to pay that from my pocket also, I may consider twice to leave the cat in the house with air conditioner running for the whole 24/7. Right? So this is just to give you the idea that when the prices become misleading, they produce wastage and provide little or no incentive for conservation. But from a social point of view, it is highly desirable. And but from industrialist point of view, it may be unattractive, right? So we will see that when we are doing economic analysis, that's the difference between economic analysis and financial analysis. Economic analysis are from public point of view or from society point of view. We always use economic and financial analysis, but very few people know the difference. Economic analysis and financial analysis. This is public perspective. And this analysis is done from individual perspective or private perspective. When you are working for government, for projects like big projects, highway projects like or power plants project, etc., you have to do economic analysis, which is from the society point of view. Now, as the prices become misleading, we change the prices to do the economic analysis, to bring back to their actual value, which we call it opportunity cost of those prices. So we do this and changes in the prices, that's called shadow pricing. Shadow pricing is adjustment to prices that must reflect more closely the true social cost or the opportunity cost to the society. The new value assigned becomes a shadow price, and we do these adjustment in four broad areas: miscellaneous social cost and private cost discrepancies, where there are big discrepancies, especially in public provided services, in labor and wages, capital charges and discount rates, and fiscal distortions including sales, taxes, duties and subsidies. So in the miscellaneous social cost, private cost discrepancies, for example, there is environmental pollution. The terms of, to account for pollution or environmental degradation in the calculation of coal-fired power plant, when you are comparing two technologies like coal-fired power plant with respect to nuclear or some other alternative gas turbines, you have to include the environmental costs in your calculations. Similarly, if there are electricity subsidized, you will have to, and this may be in the projects, electricity may be a big component of cost, you have to take into account, you have to adjust them accordingly, okay, to get your analysis proper. The subsidies are transfer payments used by government to redistribute income or achieve some other social objectives. This is like, for example, I have several pockets, I put some money here, some here, some here, and then after some time I change from here to here, but doesn't matter, because as a whole it's just the same. So these transfer payments are there, and they do not represent the use of resources, hence they are not cost to the economy. That's why we remove these distortions. We remove the distortions to do our analysis. Another is on labor and wages, we remove the distortions. Sometimes the government fixed artificially the minimum wage, And here, for example, the wage is, minimum wage is real 350 per month. This is the minimum wage fixed by the government. If you go into some village where people do not find jobs, they might be willing to work for 250 real. Now here in Oman the situation is not bad. People may be willing to work only at the same price, not less than that. But in developing countries, the situation is bad. The government set minimum, but people are willing to work maybe half the price of that. And when we are doing our economic analysis, we should use the wage where people are willing to work. You know, although when the project will be started, they will be paid according to what government has set. But this is for analysis purposes. For analysis purposes, we will use the opportunity cost of labor, and that is maybe half the price of what the government, half the wage which government has set. Another is the discount rates. Discount rates should be used according to the opportunity cost of capital, and that can be found out by finding the rate of return earned by the marginal project to an investment portfolio. In the case of national economic development, the investment portfolio would consist of all projects to be carried out within the capital budget constraints as determined by the availability of foreign exchange and local currency. So economic analysts suggest that the true value of discount rate should be used for the society, to use. You see, the government may have hundreds of projects to do, but they can finance only, let's say, first 60 projects. The 60th project, which brings the rate of return, the rate of return of that project is ideally considered as the opportunity cost of capital, and that should be the discount rate used for the country. For private, the cost of capital is calculated based on certain formulas, which includes how the financing was done, from loans, from this what we call shares, either from debt financing or from what that it's called, debt financing, and another is, I forgot the word, equity financing. So it can come from equity financing or debt financing. It could be a mixture of that. Also you pay taxes, the private industrialist pays taxes as well, they pay dividends as well. So they find out the cost of capital, the finance people, they will give the cost of capital. Usually the cost of capital for industrialists are much higher, maybe 15% or even 20%. All right?
That accounting for risk in there.
Yeah, including the risk as well in their formulas. Another is to remove, when we are doing economic analysis, to remove all these distortions which are, for example, subsidies, duties, taxes, etc. Remove those on the items and then do the economic analysis. There are some other price adjustments which are done. For example, if the machinery is coming from abroad and the country has set the exchange rate artificially. For example, they say that the exchange rate of $1 is equal to 100 this currency. This currency is some currency, all right? Now, if you want to get $10,000, for example, you want to send your child to higher education and you want to send the fees for that, you want $10,000. You go to bank, but the bank will not give you easily that $10,000. You might have to do maybe 30 signatures from different agencies to different places. There is a bureaucratic hurdles, and then at the end you might not get the same amount perhaps. But if you go into a black market and you pay about 1/30 of this currency, you may get one for $1. You pay 1/30 to get $1, and then you can get $10,000 easily without going all this hassle and so on, and you can have a lot of money if you spend this much. All right, so this is what? This is shadow exchange rate. This is the exchange rate which is in the black market. That should be used when you are doing economic analysis. Note what the government has set. Okay, clear? Okay, this concept current versus constant prices, we have already talked about this when I talked about the escalation and inflation. Basically, inflation is also called, it is also evaluated through consumer price index, which is the measure changes, which measures the changes in price of a given basket of market goods. And from there we can find out the how much inflation has occurred. For example, in 2009 you went to Carrefour to buy certain items. You had 100 reals and you bought several things, household things. You bought fish, you bought meat, you bought some vegetables, you bought some something for the house, vacuum cleaner perhaps, etc. And you paid 100 reals. Now in 2019 you want to have the same basket of goods which you bought in 10 years back. You want to buy the same basket of goods. You might have to pay 120 reals. Okay, this is inflation. This is how we can find out that it is found from consumer price index. It measures the changes in price of a given basket of market goods. And this is showing the US consumer price index. As you can see, in some years the inflation was about 14% or so. And since real is pegged with US dollar, we can also say that this is also the real's inflation as well. Okay. Okay, again another example has come, and this looks like the same example, but we have now slight change in that. Slight twist is there, and that change is that we have assumed the life of these pumps as 4 years, and they are operating 1,000 hours per year. Not 4,000 hours, 1,000 hours per year for 4 years. And now we have a 7% discount rate. Okay, now find out which pump is better.